So this is new. I don't know how to start this. Okay, so I'm gonna watch a movie based off of this spinning wheel, and they're all bad. And I'm gonna call the guys, and I'm gonna tell them the entire plot of the movie. Spin the wheel. I don't know how to do it in this part when it spins. Okay, tell me what I got.
Beer for my horses.
Beer, fucking course. Why does this have to be the first one? Why is the movie that I have a physical copy of that I can't find the streaming of online? Why does that have to be the first one? That means I have to find something that can play this DVD. I don't own anything that can play DVDs. This is now going to be a bit where I'm going to ask Max to borrow something that can play DVDs. Like, why? There are 50 movies there. And the one that picks up is the one I can't find on Netflix, on Amazon, on anything. I only have a physical DVD of, because my dad bought me, and it's like, here's a movie you might like, and it was his favorite country artist was the star. I'm like a little bit mad. Just a little bit. Fuck. Well, I'm gonna go watch Beer My... Fuck. Okay. Fuck. I just knocked it out of my ear.
Perfect.
Okay. So when I was at the store today, I was grabbing a Monster, and I realized that some of them had the pink tops and some of them had the silver tops. And I'm talking like this because I'm trying to delay the fact I can't fucking open it. I don't have nails right now, so it's kind of fucking difficult.
Oh, I see. I too rip my nails.
Bryce is the only guy who could make opening a fucking can of soda not look cool.
Hey guys, you want to hear about this movie I just fucking watched?
Sure!
I am both drained from the day and also drained from this fucking movie, guys. It is rough. I couldn't find this movie on any streaming service whatsoever. I own this movie on DVD, and then I realized I have to find something that can play a DVD. So I can't find my Xbox anywhere after I moved. Max has a Taco Bell Xbox in the living room.
True. I know that lore.
I still think that's funny that he actually won that. That's one of those things where when you see it on the commercial, like, no one actually wins that shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the way to sell food. Yeah, he actually won it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna use this Taco Bell Xbox, and I'm gonna watch this. Sit down, I go to turn on the Xbox, it doesn't turn on. I look at the back, nothing is plugged in.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. Thanks to the Xbox.
So I'm like, I find the power cord, I plug it in. There is no HDMI port to the TV. I'm like, are you kidding me? Standard Max situation, he had it just sitting out, unplugged in. So I scourge through the house. I finally find it in this closet over here. Find an HDMI cord, I plug it in. I turn on the Xbox, it needs like 6 gigabytes of updates. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I love modern technology.
Yeah, because I update the entire thing, and I'm like, okay, I put the DVD in, I go to click on the DVD on the thing. It takes me to the Microsoft App Store. I'm like, what? Turns out the new Xboxes, you can't just play the DVD. You gotta get an app to play the DVD. I had to go through the first controller, which we would press down, it would go down like 3. Then go up 1, and then go up 2. Search through the entire house again, find a second controller, which I think was a Gears of War controller.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, okay, I have this one. I sync that one up to the Xbox. It's working a lot better. I log into my thing. And then I get the app downloaded, and I start the movie. I start the DVD.
Only up from there.
It's very important I start the DVD, not the movie yet. Because I start the DVD, and the first thing it shows is Toby Keith saying that you can enter to win an '09 F-150 truck and you can go on tour with Toby Keith. Also, this was in the DVD case. It's also saying you can enter to win an F4 150 truck, and you can go on tour with Toby Keith.
That's
Did you enter?
Did you enter? Yeah.
Yeah, man, you gotta go. You gotta go for it.
I could try to enter. It ends 3/15/09.
We still got a shot.
Yeah,
you know no
hurry.
one's entering for a Toby Keith anything, let alone a Toby Keith DVD.
Nobody's watched this movie.
Yeah.
It's Toby Keith telling you about how you can win a Ford F-150 and go on tour with him. And then he calls the movie, after they're done with the video, it's a movie, Keith. You're in a movie. So he's like, after the video, go to the website, enter to win the contest to go on tour and win this Ford F-150. And I'm like, okay, I won't do that. And then it's like a super long segment right after that, where it's like behind the scenes of this movie. It's breaking the fourth wall heavily right now. We're like following the assistant director around, and it's super like they're trying so hard to be funny right here. It's not at all.
So you?
Yes. Then we talked to Toby Keith in his trailer, like, hey, he talks directly to the camera. He's like, hey, I'm Toby Keith. We're on the set of my movie.
Oh, it's his movie?
Yeah. By the way,
running this movie.
This is the Toby Keith movie.
The fuck?
I'm doing this movie with Rodney Carrington or whatever, and I'm like, I'm trying to figure out, like, I wanted to make a movie with him, but I didn't know what type of movie I wanted to make with him. I'm like, maybe it could be like a period piece. Then it just like hard cuts to like Rodney Carrington and like full like Game of Thrones clothes.
Somebody's movie was bad. This sounds fucking rad.
This is the movie. I want to correct you. This is not the movie. This is a trailer for the movie we're about to watch.
In the movie.
Yeah, and before the movie starts, before the actual previews for the movie start, we have a trailer for the movie you have a DVD of. Then after that, he's like, yeah, the period piece won't work. I thought about maybe a Kung Fu movie. Then it's just like him and Ford F-150 with like Rodney Carrington in the passenger seat, and then just starts surrounding the car. He beats him off with a baseball bat, saying quotes.
Beats him off?
He beats him off. Just like there's sensors all over. This is PG-13. He like destroys the fucking ninjas with a baseball bat while saying quotes from his own fucking songs. Then I thought maybe it could be like an 80s movie. Then there's just like people dancing to 80s music. Cuts to him with like a long hair. He just kind of looks at the camera. Like that's supposed to be the joke.
Bryce, is it legit 80s music or is it like stock 80s music?
I think they paid for like 180. I told him, dude, I was like super fucking confused at this point. So I was not paying attention to what song was playing. After that, he's like, then I realized what movie we should make. And then it was the real trailer for the movie. This was a lead up to the trailer for the movie you already owned a DVD of.
And did it sell you?
No.
Did it work?
I wanted to return this DVD. Then it ends with an advertisement for the competition to win a Ford F-150 and go on tour with Toby Keith.
That's a really good incentive to buying a DVD right there. I would have bought it.
So if you didn't know, the website is Tour with Toby. If you want to enter...
Lancy, look that up. Lancy, look that
I'm
up.
doing it right now.
Bryce, can you hear us?
I'm back.
We're creating lore for you. The demon is now Toby Keith. It's a demon with a cowboy hat.
Dude, I'm from rural Ohio. The demon was always Toby Keith.
You're not wrong.
After a couple more trailers, I'm actually at the controls for the DVD now, where I can actually start the movie. I didn't want to. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was sitting at that screen, I looked at it, looked over at my significant other who I forced to sit down with me. Because this entire time I was trying to set up this situation, get this movie started. She was like, oh darn, it's not plugged in. Guess we have to watch something else. Like,
dang, what a shame.
The entire time. And once I got to start it up.
All the cords got cut in half.
And by the time we were sitting there with like the movie ready to go, she looked so defeated, and she was already on her phone. She also watched this movie when she was younger, and she super didn't want to watch it again. The movie opens with a dude just going to town wailing on a truck with a bat, and a cop car pulls up, and Officer Toby Keith gets out.
Oh.
Wait, is he officer or sheriff Toby Keith?
He's deputy sheriff. That's important.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's a bitch.
He's a bitch. This guy's fucking my wife who owns this truck. I was like, I never cheat on my husband.
Toby Keith talks to the lady. He goes, "Don't lie, because I fucked you, and I know you fucking didn't cheat on your husband."
And the couple makes up. And
Good opening.
Yeah. And then he goes back to his house, and his girlfriend's packing up boxes into the car, and he's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "What the fuck do you mean where we're going?" He's like, "I did," because it was apparently her birthday, and he forgot. And he, classic Toby Keith, asshole.
Yeah.
So he forgot her birthday. Actually, I did get you something for your birthday. And she's like, "What?" He's like, "This dick." And she fucking slaps him.
Is that a real lie?
That wasn't a line, but he's like wrapped up in my pants right now or some shit like that. Like, this is for real what he says. This is the hero of the story. This is the hero.
Fuck, I want to know the scriptwriter in this fucking movie now.
It's Toby Keith.
Wait, was it actually?
He helped write it, yes.
Toby Keith write this?
He helped write it. And it cuts to like the next day. Toby Keith goes to work. I'm not gonna go over some shit that happened on the drive because it's not fucking important. By the way, the movie was exactly 90 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
Like you could tell they kind of padded that shit. So, which is like, what else can we put in this movie? I don't know. Him just like checking out a girl as he drives to work. So he gets to work at the sheriff's office, and they're just like the stereotypical typecasting you'd think in a sheriff's office. It's like the secretary who's kind of sassy, and is the guy who answers the phones that keeps falling asleep because he eats donuts.
Was there a big fat black police chief?
Depends on
Usually
what
it's a
state
fat
we're in
police chief. Bonus points if it's a black police chief.
But I also want to point out that Ted Nugent's also there. It just is Ted Nugent.
Everybody's playing themselves.
Ted Nugent has his character is literally this characteristic is he doesn't talk.
Wow.
Ted Nugent has one line in this entire movie. He's in the entire movie. And honestly, I'm not sure if you ever heard Ted Nugent do anything. The less he talks, the better. So the sheriff shows up with two other deputies in just like long black school shooter jackets. You know, I'm like the.
Bryce, the word you're looking for is trench coat.
Yeah, if they were like brown, they'd be trench coat. No, they're black. So they're just like wow. There's only like one type of person that's gonna buy those, man. Talks to Toby Keith and Rodney Carrington, who's Toby Keith's friend. I'm just gonna call him Toby Keith's friend for the rest of the movie. I don't know his fucking character's name. Also, Toby Keith has a name, a character name that's not Toby Keith. I don't know what it is. It's Toby Keith. So they're told that they're gonna work on the weekends, and they're like, gosh darn it, why do police have to work on the weekends?
The hell, man.
By the way, I'm saying funnier jokes than they have in this movie. I've laughed 0 times throughout this entire movie. So they do a stakeout looking at like fertilizer tanks because they're like I don't know why. They never established why. Or if they did, I don't care. And Ted Nugent's just fucking running around with a bow and arrow. They never established why. Like why that they're supposed to be like a stakeout, so they're just kind of watching. But he's just
that
like
was just him on set.
He just near the fertilizer tanks, just fucking running around with a bow and arrow. Like, isn't he all supposed to be a police officer? Isn't he? Or is he just some guy they hang out with that does shit?
Have they established what state we're in here?
They think they did. I believe it's Arkansas. No, it's Oklahoma. It was Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma. Okay, everything makes sense. Okay. No wonder this movie fucking sucks.
They established during this scene that they have there was a dog introduced earlier on in the scene before. I didn't really care at the time, but it's a dog, like a drug dog in training that the friend brought along is training him. Apparently, when the dog farts, that means something important's about to happen.
Whoa.
I
can tell this.
They say that in the
Toby
movie.
Keith idea.
Yes, they say that in the movie. So if the dog farts, something important in the story is happening. You should pay attention.
That's the marker. Okay.
From that line on, I wrote down every single time the dog farted.
I want it right behind you on the green screen, as large as you can get it every time.
We're now going to have a counter of dog farts throughout this entire thing, because now it's important. I have to keep track of it. Also, they established this because the dog farts at this time. And that's when just a bunch of vehicles show up to the fertilizer tanks and people get out. Clearly not here to steal fertilizer. They're like not dressed for it. They approach them, even though it's supposed to be a stakeout. they go at them with guns.
And
It is Oklahoma, remember? We do these things down around
Yeah.
here.
And don't worry, Ted Nugent gets to kill several men.
At one point, he just pulls out like 2 Uzis and just goes like sprays them. I'm like, I feel like Ted Nugent wrote his own character.
Yeah.
There's a shootout, and then Toby Keith like chases down a truck by jumping on the back of it. Then he shoots out a single car tire, like the rear left one. The car flips, then fucking explodes.
Okay, great.
like realistic explosion or like cartoon Power Ranger sized explosion.
Like it was too big, and there's no reason that car should have exploded. Then Toby Keith, Ted Nugent, and Toby Keith's friend meet up with the other police officers at the bar, and they all get drunk. It's importantly noted, they did mention earlier that these cops are canonically the only police in this town.
Hell yeah.
Oh wait, how small is the town that they only got like
Not very
2
big.
or 3 police
Oklahoma.
officers?
There
It's
are,
Oklahoma. There's about 6 people.
yes, according to this, there are 5 deputies and 1 sheriff. And they're all currently around this table taking shots.
Hell yeah.
The entire police force is now drunk.
Hell yeah.
There's a sign above it that says, "We don't call the police; they're already here."
It cuts to the next morning. They're in church.
Very accurate. Confirm.
That looks sounds so realistic.
The only thing that happened in the church is that Toby Keith's friend was asleep, and then the pastor woke him up.
Wow.
I don't know why
Okay,
this
so
scene was in here. I don't know why.
That's
There is no
very
reason.
important character building because now it confirms he's going to hell. So
Toby Keith finds like a drug user on the corner. He was warned that one of the fertilizer thieves guys is going to be fucked up by his brother because he's a part of like something really big and important. And Toby Keith responds by taking the guy's pants and pulling it up.
hell yeah, pull your pants.
Because his pants were a little bit low, so he grabbed him by the ass of his pants and just kind of pulled him up a little bit. Not like to like wedgie them, just to like, here you go, bud. I don't know what's happening half the time in this movie so far. At this point, I was sitting there wondering, is there a plot? Or are we just going to watch Toby Keith hang out for like an hour and a half? Toby Keith goes to like a diner and sits at the bar at the diner, and it's a classic movie thing where him and the bartender are just like way too close for like someone who works at a diner and the police officer. She eventually just tells him to go get some pussy. Like, it's...
If your old sweetheart's in town, go fucking tap that.
Yeah. Go fuck her. Hey, Sheriff, why don't you go fuck your old sweetheart?
So he visits his old love interest's house, and she's taking care of her mother, who's non-verbal. So she's taking care of her mom, sees him, and she freaks out, and he comes up and he gives her corn dogs.
Thanks, Sheriff.
And
Hey, here's my dementia-ridden mother. Give her a corn dog.
And Toby Keith, this entire scene, just kind of stands there very awkwardly. Like, his arms are way too far out from his body, and his legs are just a little too far apart.
That's what I expect of Toby Keith.
I'm
If
like,
I pictured Toby Keith, that's what I would expect.
I'm like, did you get human lessons before this movie? Or did you just show up and they're like, go ahead, bud, you're doing great. This old guy comes out of the house and is like an asshole, talking like, hey, Toby Keith, I heard your dad's dead. That sucks. Want to sell me his farm?
And then the daughter, question
God.
mark, I don't know what the relationship is. They never really establish it. Calls him an asshole to his face after Toby Keith leaves. And then the nonverbal mother also calls him an asshole. She speaks for like a moment. It's like, he was always an asshole. Like, it's...
The police station, Toby Keith's friend is still trying to train the drug dog. DA shows up, secretary is rude to him, and then he can't open like a half door. They make like a big old joke about him, like, oh, how does this fucking thing work? Yeah, it's just as funny now as it was in the movie. And the DA is like, we can't hold these fertilizer thieves. We don't have shit on them. There was an open gunfight. What the fuck were you doing? And Toby Keith comes in and is like, hey, here's proof, and shows that one of them is wanted by the FBI. And he's like, all right, that one's gonna be an issue, but the other ones, there's no chance in hell. I also want to prove out the DA is wrong here. It's called aiding and abetting. They will also go down. So they get all the fertilizer thieves out except for one, and then he's like, You ought to better watch it. My brother's gonna come for you, Toby Keith. Toby Keith threatens him with prison rape. And then in the next scene, Toby Keith is the most police officer he is in the entire movie. He dangerously crosses multiple lanes of traffic to pull up and talk to a pretty girl.
The worst part is that wasn't in the script. That just happened that he just got on the camera.
Yeah, he had the cop car rental use.
For the rest of my description, pretty girl is the old love interest. That's the new in town, the just back in town old ex situation that he visited before. I call her pretty girl throughout the entire thing because I don't have a name for her. I don't remember her name, and I don't want to. I don't want to give more of my mind to this movie. Toby Keith and then Toby Keith's friend in the next scene are now pissing on either side of a truck. They're talking about wild pigs walk by. This scene is fantastic. The next scene is his date, because after he crossed the lanes of traffic, he got a date with that girl. And the next scene is the date. They're walking out of a movie theater for a movie called Detour. I'm not sure if that's a real movie. I don't want to look it up. If you guys want to, that's fine.
I'm looking it up.
Detour, 2009.
It's a horror film. Yeah. Did they put a fucking ad for a horror movie in another movie?
They put an ad for another movie in this movie to up their budget.
Hell yeah.
Would not be surprised.
Also want to point out, this entire time, the truck that Toby Keith is driving is a Ford F-150. I got really distracted during this scene when they're talking on the side of the road next to the Ford F-150. In the background, there is a store called Spick and Span, but the camera cut it off, so it just said the first word. I'm like,
Oklahoma.
I'm like, we should rename them. We should rename that store. Would you like me to help you with giving you the information they talk about during this scene about the movie?
Oh, about Detour? Yeah, of course.
Here's the information they give you about the movie. That's it. They give you nothing. They don't talk about the fucking movie at all. You know how you leave a movie and then never talk about it? So I was getting distracted by that store in the background. I brought back in when they kiss. I'm like, oh, apparently they were talking about something that made them kiss. And then Toby Keith offers to give her a corn dog at his house.
No, it just has a horrible fucking deformity in his penis. That's just, it's very thin at the bottom.
Prickly.
It's the shape of a corn dog, but it's the stick first, and then the corn dog.
Yeah, that's the shaft.
Okay, that'd be fucking hilarious.
The head is the whole corn dog.
The next morning they wake up in the same bed. Toby Keith gave her his corn dog apparently. This next scene bothered me, because again, no point to this. Besides making fun of somebody with a disability. He calls over a plumber who has a really bad speech impediment, and the joke is that he has a speech impediment.
Very cool.
The scene ends, he gets a call, and he finds the girl's car on the side of the road, abandoned. There's no, body or anything. So Toby Keith goes to the parents' house, the DA is there, that's kind of important. And Toby Keith looks at her dad and was like, I fucked your daughter, I don't know where she is. So Toby Keith gets a call at work, and it's Cartel brother saying that he has her and he wants to trade for his brother. And if he don't, he kills her. And there's just one of my favorite scenes is not even really a scene. It's Toby Keith sitting on his bed. He looks at this picture of them when they were first together in high school. And the entire time is Toby Keith singing a sad song over top of this scene. So it is sad Toby Keith singing about sad Toby Keith. We cut to Toby Keith's friend's house, and the dog farts. Write that down. And Toby Keith shows up, and he's like, we're going to Mexico. And he's like, what?
Oh my god.
This is not what we discussed. Shit. He's like, we're going to Mexico.
This was an adventure film.
Yeah, we're going to Mexico. We're going to save her. Also, Toby Keith's friend, way too many shotguns in his house. Jesus Christ. They pull out 7. I'm like, oh, my dude. They get the shotguns. They take his truck, which is a Ford F-150 that is painted blackish blue and has lightning along the fucking sides of it. This is the closest I got to a laugh this entire movie. They go out they cut the truck, and Toby Keith's friend opens the back door. He looks inside, and Ted Nugent's just sitting there. At that moment, I realized I was stuck with Ted Nugent this entire fucking movie.
Hell yeah.
They go by and bring donuts to one of their police coworkers that falls asleep while eating donuts because he's the only one at the police station at the time. Because remember, there's like 7 of them. So he's sleeping. They're able to steal the guy out of jail to take with them, and they hit the road. And they immediately stop at a gas station. While Toby Keith's friend's clearing a windshield, he's approached by a prostitute. And while they're talking, he's not quite understanding that she's a prostitute. You see in the background a car pull up and a guy run inside with a gun. He's trying to rob the place, and Toby Keith's like, no, you're not robbing the place. This is going to be 2 coffees. And they able to stop the robbery. And that's kind of like super unimportant. I think they just want to make Toby Keith look a badass for a moment. They didn't get anything out of that scene. And the only thing that comes out of the scene was because Toby Keith's friend is distracted by the prostitute, the thief guy in the back seat escapes and they find him immediately though, just like next to the truck in like a boat. The only thing they get out of this is that the next scene they see them in the truck, they're just like listening to a really sad talk show on the radio. And then the prostitute pops up in the back like, hey, let me in!
What the fuck? Wait, do we have a whole cast now, or is this our main character?
We're slowly getting more and more people in this fucking truck. We're gonna cut over to the pretty girl is now bound and gagged in Mexico. And the cartel brother brings her tacos. Not gonna lie, these tacos look fucking delicious. They look so good. Like, hey, I don't want them to think that I didn't treat you right. So here's tacos. And she just fucking kicks the tacos. And I die a little bit, just a little bit on the inside. And as a response, the cartel brother just fucking executes a man in front of her.
Oh my god!
Every time you kill a taco, I kill a man.
We cut back to the Toby Keith and friends are driving. This truck is fucking packed now.
Because the amazing fucking cab capacity of the Ford F-150.
Hell yeah. By the way, I forgot to mention the dog is with them. That's important.
Oh yeah?
Because the dog farts.
Hell yeah.
Toby Keith's friend is driving. Toby Keith's asleep in the passenger seat. Dog farts. Then a truck from behind them pulls up next to them. And it's just filled with just attractive women. And then the song Show Them to Me, the country song about showing them titties, it just starts playing. Because one of them gets up and then flashes the friend, and he fucking crashes the truck. They crash the truck. The truck is broken with like a piece of like fence hanging out the front of it. Other than that, it looks completely flawless.
Because of the amazing durability of the Ford F-150. I'm actually surprised they let them crash it. Apparently that's normally in contracts, that you can't crash the fucking cars.
No, that's the thing. They didn't have a contract. They just bought a Ford F-150.
Yeah, he just really likes Ford F-150.
Honestly, Toby Keith wouldn't be surprised. He profited off of 9/11. He could profit off of one truck. So they crash the truck, and you will not believe who fucking pulls up to help them out.
Who is it? Who is it?
Willie Nelson.
Of course.
He pulls up.
Oh my god.
And he kind of like, he gets his truck behind him and just fucking pushes their truck. And I'm like, I don't think that fucking works that way. So this next scene, I want you to remember, Toby Keith is the hero of this movie.
Of course.
So the prostitute asks him about his love life. He just fully disrespects her line of work and everything she is about. Just, like, what would you know about love in your line of work? Like she's not a fucking human being.
Well, she's not.
So she.
Back. Shut up,
So she's like, you know, I've always wanted to do like poetry and stuff, and she recites this poem she wrote. And it's not bad. Like fully, this poem is not bad. It fully sounds like a poem I heard before. But what's important is he looks her in the face like, you sound fucking stupid right now. You sound so dumb. You're an idiot. That's the scene. Why am I here? Why am I fucking here?
That's an Oscar-worthy scene right there, Bryce.
Honestly, they got robbed if they didn't
It
win
was
anything.
at this point in the movie, I paused it to check the time. Because I needed to know how much more I had to deal with. You will not fucking believe where they pull up to next in this weird fucking journey.
It's a Waffle House. It better be a Waffle House.
A Waffle House would be better because they pull up to a circus. As soon as they pull up, I get the worst feeling just in the pit of my stomach. And I'm like, oh no.
We're gonna have carny jokes.
We have carny jokes. You're gonna make fun of people who are different. Oh no. Honestly, these scenes in the circus could have been worse. They do straight up have jokes about things that are borderline not okay. But they don't go in the way you would think they would go. So they get to the carnival, and then Will Nelson's like, I know this guy who could fix your truck. A guy just not dressed in carnival clothes just walks up. I can fix your truck.
What do you want, Bryce? Do you want like a guy in like big floppy clown shoes and he has like a toolbox with polka dots on it and shit? He squeaks as he goes along.
Yeah,
he opens the toolbox, there's no tools. They're the little play tools you give to like kids.
The next scene is at night and the prostitute's talking to a guy with a monkey.
Hell yeah!
and the guy is telling a story about you can very clearly tell about his wife dying. and she's like, wow, that was hot. He's like, hell yeah. So Toby Keith and Toby Keith's friend have a drink with the Carnies and Willie Nelson, and you meet like two of them. One is like a sharpshooter, the other one is just a large woman who likes to hug.
That's my favorite carnival act. Large woman that likes to hug.
Yeah. She's like, watch out, she likes to hug, and she's just like sitting next to him. She reaches over, like hugs him, and that's the joke. That's the joke. And then there's a huge section where they have a little person magician doing a magic trick. And it's a really fucking good magic trick. Like it's actually entertaining. He gets into like this. It looks like a cannon, like a fake cannon. He gets inside of it, lights the outside, like a circle of fire around it, and then it goes up in flames, and he appears in the audience. Like it's really good.
Whoa!
During the magic show that was happening, Toby Keith learned something important from Willie Nelson. I don't care about what he learns. Something about being in danger. It helps him later in the movie. Honestly, it doesn't fucking matter. So, Toby Keith's friend realizes he doesn't have his watch. He's like, where the fuck's my watch? And the sharpshooter's like, oh, I can tell you what time it is. And he's like, all right, man. Okay, give me my watch back. And then the sharpshooter pulls a fucking gun on him. And he points the gun. He's like, okay. You can keep the watch. I'm going to sit back down. He's like, too late, buddy. And he pulls the trigger, and a little flag comes out and says, bang. And he laughs.
Hell yeah.
And everybody laughs, including Toby Keith, who wasn't in on the joke and did nothing to help his friend who just got shot.
Including Toby Keith, who just sat there with a gun.
Toby Keith, who was a deputy for the sheriff, watched as his fellow deputy and close friend had a gun pointed at him and did nothing as he watched a guy pull the trigger.
Oh, I was hoping either way it was a trick for me.
Okay. I fucking hate this movie. The next morning, the dog farts.
Hell yeah.
Put it up there. The truck is fixed. Toby Keith's friend wants to wait for the prostitute. They look over and see that she is spending time with the carny that she took with the night before. The light just went out.
What was that?
My light just went out.
Oh.
Hold on.
Okay. Right there. Here he
Oh
comes,
god,
Toby
the
Keith.
demons are coming. The demons.
Oh god.
They're
the
all
light went out.
surrounding you. They're around you.
Toby Keith's friend wanted to wait for the prostitute. Then they see her walking around and spending time with the carny that she spent the night with. Then he just calls her a hooker and they leave. They don't tell her.
See ya, bitch. Peel
They
it
don't
out.
tell her that they're leaving. They just ditch her.
Just left her at the carnival.
That's
where it deserved.
that's the last time we see her in the entire movie. They're back on the road. Toby Keith's friend has to pee. Toby Keith says, "Go piss in a bottle," and his friend says his dick is too big to piss in a bottle.
It's corn dog shape.
It's corn dog shape. It won't fit in the bottle. Because I hate when you have to piss. You have to stick your entire dick inside the hole of the bottle. You know. So this next scene isn't important to the movie, but it's important to me. So they stop at a pit stop, and Toby Keith's friend runs inside really quickly, goes into a stall, and he starts peeing in the stall. Toby Keith walks in after him, realizing the bathroom is filled with like 5 guys just like hanging out.
Oh no.
4 of them are darker skinned.
Oh no.
So Toby Keith walks.
You're gone.
Toby Keith walks into the urinal, pulls out his gun, and like cocks it. and obviously everyone else in there kind of backs the fuck up. He pees and then he leaves out of the bathroom. And so his Toki's friend is still in the stall peeing, like a lot, apparently. He just starts singing, like, a song. He starts singing, then all the guys in the bathroom start harmonizing with him.
Are we about to have a fucking song number in this movie?
They have a slight song number in the bathroom, because they're just vibing, singing, and dancing in the bathroom. And it keeps cutting to Toby Keith out. No, Toby Keith is now left the bathroom. He's back in the car. It keeps cutting Toby Keith in the car, just like, where is he? And it cuts back, and they're like, he's out of the stall at this point. He's just like vibing with him, dancing and singing
in his bathroom. And this scene just proves that Toby Keith is a racist. I'm so mad. Guys, I'm so fucking pissed. When I looked at the camera when I said that, the camera said to stop recording. I'm so fucking mad. That's the best line of this fucking thing.
They arrive in a town in Mexico. They say the town. It doesn't fucking matter. And Toby Keith's friend is just practicing Spanish phrases just to learn.
De Mexico.
He learns I like cheese in Spanish. And then Toby Keith goes to a little kid. He's like, hey, do you speak English? And the kid's like, no comprehende. And he cuts down at the guy's level, pulls out like a $10 bill. He's like, do you speak English? He's like, a little.
The kid's name is Chico.
Of course it is.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's either that or
Does that
Jorge.
bother
One
you
of
guys?
the two.
That just bothered me.
Well, he had the name he was gonna call him earlier in the movie already.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Toby Keith shows them a picture of the cartel's brother, and he like backs off a little bit, and he takes the necklace from the thief and he gives it to the kid. He's like, hey, go give him this necklace and this note. And he goes and gives him the necklace and the note. And I was typing at this point. I don't think it fucking matters how he receives it. Let's move on. And it cuts to Toby Keith and Toby Keith's friend. They're drinking at a bar. Toby Keith's friend is drinking a very large fruity drink. And they want us to laugh at the fact that he has a very large fruity drink. There's also just a donkey's ass mounted on the wall. And they're like, hey, it's a donkey's ass. They put it up backwards. Like, they go back to it later. Like, I don't understand.
Behind you right now. I hope that's as large as you can get it behind you right now.
I just knocked the head piece out of my ear.
So they get a call from the cartel brother, and they set up a meeting. Can you tell I'm getting tired?
Oh, fuck yeah, I can.
I have this monster here because I was already exhausted after this fucking movie. Now I gotta talk about this fucking movie.
So the next scene is just Ted Nugent just putting on the most fucking horrific face paint, war paint you've ever seen in your goddamn life. And you're like, Ted Nugent, I feel like you just do this for fun. So Toby Keith's friend shows up in a bright blue sombrero and serape. We're supposed to laugh at him exploring and celebrating a different culture. Yeah. I will give them props on one joke that, again, almost made me laugh. As Toby Keith's like, leave this sombrero in the hotel room, we gotta go. And he takes all the stuff he needs, grabs the sombrero, leaves out of the room, door shuts behind him, camera doesn't cut, door opens back up, Toby Keith throws the sombrero back in the room.
Get this culture out of here.
And he throws it, and it like flies like a frisbee, and lands perfectly on top of the bed. Like, it is a perfect, just boop, right there in the middle of the bed.
That's
I'm like,
the reason they left that in, because it was such a good throw.
the cartel brother shows up with the girl, and Toby Keith shows up with the thief with a bag over his head and a gun to the back of his neck. He asks where the girl is, and out from the back walks her dad with a gun to her.
Oh, what the fuck?
He reveals that he makes meth, and the cartel brother distributes it, and he also pays off the pays off the DA with Mexican prostitutes. That he was not, pushed into talking about that one. He just wanted to talk about it.
He comes in with a little hood, he flips it. It was me, Toby. It was me all along. Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And then the Breaking Bad theme starts.
He says, like, yeah, we're actually work together. Also, I pay off the DA with Mexican prostitutes. And it's like, you didn't have to tell us about that one. So the cartel brother tries to speak Spanish to the thief, as it's tries, because the thief can't speak Spanish. Then he says, I like cheese in Spanish. And he takes off the hood, and it's the Toby Keith's friend underneath there wearing the thief's clothes. And he pulls a shotgun out of fucking nowhere. Like, you don't see it. I think he learned a little bit from that little person magician, because he pulls a fucking shotgun out of nowhere and blasts the guy through a window.
Is there a shotgun in your pants, or are you just happy to see me?
Toby Keith runs after the fleeing father and the daughter. Toby Keith's friend is left to a gunfight with literally everybody else. I think Ted Nugent is there somewhere. We don't do a lot of cuts to him, like ever.
They ran out of the budget. They couldn't.
I think
afford
Ted
him.
Nugent had to leave after like one shot, and then he just never came back.
I will say, during the first gunfight with the fertilizer place, he was never in shots with the other actors.
Because
He
he was there on
offset.
day 3.
Yeah, they just cut him in.
So Toby Keith's friend is left to a gunfight with everybody else. He's able to defeat everybody else, and the main cartel brother goes unconscious, and his gun jams at the last second. And the thief runs in, sees his brother on the gun, and says, "How could you do this to my brother?" Pulls out a pistol, points it at him, and then the dog tackles him to the ground. Back of the bar, Toby Keith has a stand-up with the father, and the father then reveals that he's a stepfather, not the actual father. I think he revealed this earlier, but I don't give a shit.
It's very important because it proves that, there can be no love between a stepfather.
Yeah.
Fuck, that was a fucking dark joke.
He also reveals that he's the reason he's been poisoning the mom. That's why she's nonverbal now.
Oh, I see.
Again, another villain monologue. Didn't need it.
Then just a guy bursts in. I think he's probably from earlier in the movie. Maybe the guy who was on the corner, like the drug user. I don't know for sure. I didn't remember him. He comes in. He's actually, he's like pointing the gun at Toby, and the guy's like, "Yeah, get Toby." And he switches the gun from Toby to the other guy's. "Actually, I'm an FBI agent." I'm like, this would be a bigger reveal if I knew who you were. So the father throws like his stepdaughter at the FBI agent, pulls the gun on Toby Keith, and Toby Keith just fucking shoots him. That kills him.
Okay.
They return back to Toby Keith's friend who is looting the bodies.
The cartel brothers are arrested. They go back to their hometown bar where they're welcomed as heroes.
Sheriff confronts him and accurately tells them all of the laws they just broke. Like, he goes through the list, and I'm like, yeah, that actually covers everything. Ted Nugent says his only line in the movie, where he's like, "Here, take a shot."
No, that's the thing. It wasn't even a line in the movie. He just said that, and they're like, I guess we can keep that in.
Yeah, he
so
forgot his character thing.
there was a name for the alcohol. It was the alcohol they took with the carnies. And he says the name of the alcohol, and they all take a shot.
And then Toby Keith says the prostitute's poem to the pretty girl, and she also calls it stupid, but how she says it, she clearly doesn't mean it. Like, she's like, "Oh, that's actually very heartwarming. You're so stupid. Where'd you hear that?" He's like, "From a hooker." And just kind of picks her up and just like carries her away. And then the movie ends with Toby Keith's friend feeding a dog beer.
Wow. What
That's-
a good movie. I'm going to go watch this right now. Thanks, Toby Keith. I'm going to buy a Ford F-150.
So that was Toby Keith, Beer from Our Horses.
All right.
That was a movie I just watched.
And
I
what
hate-
would you rate it?
Out of 10 My Horses, I'm gonna do 6 beers for them. If you guys want to enter to win a new 09 Ford F-150, here's the actual thing that was in the DVD case. Enter to win by 3/15/09. If you do too early, if you do too late, you're not gonna get entered. Okay?
Put my name in. I've already entered 42 times.
And if you're Toby Keith and you're watching this, the fuck, man? You profited off of 9/11. I don't have anything to say to you. I don't want to do anymore.